Hey, can you guys hear us? State trooper was injured in a shooting, and if you're taking a look at video now, I can hear it in my ear. That is just some of the moments that you could see that protesters are throwing bricks at what I believe to be the Atlanta Police Foundation. Oh, hey, turn around. Can we go back? Someone actually, it looks like one of the Atlanta police.
An Atlanta police vehicle is on fire.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to follow up on a story that I did just a couple of days ago about an Antifa activist that was shot and killed in a crossfire with police after he allegedly opened fire on the police first while police were running an operation to get rid of Antifa protesters who have camped out in a forest around what they call Cop City, which is basically a police facility that has been built outside of Atlanta for police training. And these Antifa terrorists have been hanging in these woods for months, basically trying to stop the construction and development of this police training facility and committing acts of violence and terrorism along the way. Again, it finally escalated into bloodshed as an Antifa protester was shot and killed by police, and Antifa pledged to have a so-called night of rage in response to police killing this protester, in which they did make good on their promise, and they showed out in downtown Atlanta in what could only be described by a reasonable person as a full-blown riot. An act of domestic terrorism, but leave it to the woke local media in Atlanta to somehow, some way do mental gymnastics and call this a peaceful or mostly peaceful protest. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with that. We've heard that before during these left-wing riots. Take a look.
We're taking you right now. You can see people running in opposite directions, and on the other side
Eric,
of that. Yeah, Tyler.
I do want to. Yeah, we're far enough away. You'll see the officer right there with APD. He has what appears to be zip ties. We're not far enough down where we can't see if they've taken anyone into custody, but it did appear that they were ready to do that, to try to calm the situation that's unfolding here. And as you said, this really a protest initially to try to protest what happened on Wednesday here, where I mean, they were handing out that vehicle still up in flames here over at Andrew Young and Peachtree. And if you take a look over here, if you pan over, I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at that protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice so sorry. And right now. You'll see, basically, they want justice for him after the shooting that happened when the Atlanta police and the different law enforcement agencies were raiding the forest over there to try to basically clear out the forest after everything that was going on. We're all related to this. It was Entrenchment Creek Park.
So yeah, as you guys saw there, I'm getting flashbacks from the Summer of Love in 2020 when CNN literally had a city burning down behind them, claiming that the protest was mostly peaceful, right? Fiery but peaceful. This guy with a police car burning behind him, reporting on the acts of violence that are being done, claiming that it was a mostly peaceful protest. But there should be no surprises here. We all know how this works. If it's MAGA, right, or Republican, or anybody that disagrees with the Democrat Party, on the right that is, it is insurrection. Okay, it's white supremacy. The FBI needs to be looking into it. Even if it's, just parents simply expressing the fact that they don't like woke doctrination being pushed on their kids. But if it's somebody on the left side of the aisle, a left-wing extremist, Antifa, BLM, Roe v. Wade rioters, it's mostly peaceful. Again, it's amazing to me how far the woke media goes to try to defend left-wing rioters and terrorists, because that's what they are. They are terrorists. Now, let's actually tune in for a little bit more objective coverage on what happened here, and also a word from the mayor in response to this act of terrorism from Antifa. Take a look.
Many of them don't even live in Atlanta or in the state of Georgia, and they don't represent the voices of Atlanta. And some of them were found with explosives on them. You heard that correctly, explosives, and that has led to a police officer's car being set on fire, and other destruction has occurred. And so make no mistake about it, these individuals meant harm to people and to property. And so
have calmed down for us tonight, but you are standing right there in front of really the evidence of the crimes that happened earlier.
Yeah, Eric, what started as a demonstration against a proposed Atlanta Police Training Center quickly turned into a violent protest when marchers took to the street. You'll take a look. This Truist Bank right here, the front window blown out by protesters throwing rocks and bricks at it. And across the street, the Wells Fargo right there also suffering damage when those protesters went after that building as well. They've already boarded it up. They also set a police cruiser on fire. Tensions boiled over tonight. Just a protester was killed in an exchange of gunfire with Georgia State troopers. Armed with bricks and fireworks, some protesters turned violent in downtown Atlanta Saturday night.
At that point, saw people smashing out taillights of cop cars and windows. And
David Abrahams watched as a firework was used to set an Atlanta police cruiser on fire.
What I saw wasn't peaceful. Yeah, no, I mean, blowing up cop cars and throwing fireworks at police officers is not peaceful.
Once the protest turned violent, police started swarming the area.
There was at least 15 cop cars at the intersection. And next thing I know, the protesters start taking off.
Before the violence, there was a peaceful demonstration Saturday at Underground Atlanta. Stand up, fight back! The group was there to protest a proposed training center for Atlanta police and demand an independent investigation into the death of Manuel Teran. Teran was killed at Entrenchment Creek Park when law enforcement worked to clear the woods of activists Wednesday, camped out protesting the site they call Cop City. The GBI says Teran opened fire, injuring a state trooper, and that's when troopers shot back, killing Teran.
We can debate the circumstances of what happened Wednesday all day. I'd like to see an independent investigation of that.
What was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration to demand answers in Teran's death and put a stop to the proposed training center for Atlanta police took a turn. APD says the destruction was stopped quickly and 6 protesters were arrested.
People were upset, and you could see it. So we watched them take out some frustration.
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was a parade or what. And then once I seen them start breaking cop car windows and the cop car caught on fire, I was like, yo, this is no joke.
There is still a law enforcement presence out here tonight, but many of them have already left. They've reopened Peachtree Street here in downtown Atlanta. The police car that was towed away, but again, the evidence of what happened here still here tonight, even though the bank across the street has already been boarded up. We're of course going to be learning more over the coming days and hours, but for now, live in downtown Atlanta tonight, Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Yes, Tyler, good news here. No first responders were injured and no civilians were injured. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So again, this is why I say that left-wing extremism, wokeism, is the biggest domestic terrorist threat to this country. Bar none. There's no comparison. Okay. This is not white supremacy. This is woke supremacy. And this is what the FBI and the Department of Justice really needs to be spending their resources and focusing on, instead of going out the so-called, white supremacists and Q on Twitter, right? On social media. Again, it's just a damn shame that these people are not the #1 targets for law enforcement in this country. We're letting them get away with this nonsense because they're leftists, right? And if I'm a Republican, if I'm a Republican in Congress, or if I'm a local Republican in Atlanta, I'm not answering any questions about anything except this, right? I'm coming out, if I'm Kevin McCarthy, on my first news conference of the day tomorrow, I'm saying, look, are Democrats going to condemn that act of domestic terrorism from Democrat Party sympathizers, from their constituents in Atlanta? Are they going to condemn that? Or are they okay with that? Are they okay with the anti-cop sentiment that is being brewed by left-wing extremists in this country? Are they going to condemn it? Because, again, Nancy Pelosi claimed that she wanted to focus more on condemning domestic violence, right? Rather than investigating Joe Biden, right? Rather than have partisan investigations, she wanted to focus on domestic violence and extremism. Here's her opportunity. Is she going to condemn it? Is Hakeem Jeffries going to condemn it? Right? Have you talked to them about this? Right? What do they have to say about this? These people are left-wing extremists, right? They agree with the Democrat Party, right? Why are the Democrats silent on this issue? Why are they not pushing for the FBI and the Department of Justice to investigate these terrorist groups? Because there's no doubt in my mind that, again, left-wing extremism is the biggest domestic terrorist threat to this country. We've seen it time and time and time again. I can't name any white supremacist terrorist events that have been like that. Not in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. I can't think of any. Right? If you guys know of any, then let me know. Right? And January 6th don't count. Right? Because January 6th was not white supremacy. Okay? But I can name a ton of events that have happened, that have come from left-wing extremists, Antifa, the Roe v. Wade rioters, BLM. And they, again, this is par for the course. And they've been emboldened to do this because the liberal media always covers for them every single time this happens. Oh, it's mostly peaceful. No, it wasn't. It was extremism. It was violent. It was a terrorist attack. That's what it was. It was an act of terrorism. Call it what it is. These are terrorists, and they must be dealt with like terrorists. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. But yeah, if I'm a Republican, I would not stop talking about this. And I would make sure that the liberal media is forced to talk about it and address the fact that Democrats and their constituents are basically destroying and rioting in cities again because they don't like cops. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.